Back at the All-American Speedway, the field getting the 2 to go signal at the Toyota Napa Auto Care 200. The field aligned on this third-mile track, Landon.
You had 200 laps tonight, one set of tires. Got one end of the track's got a little more banking than the other. Makes a challenge for the teams.
It certainly does. Heather, who should we be watching tonight?
One driver you want to keep your eye on tonight is the number 9 of Ryan Partridge. When I spoke to him earlier today, he told me that his focus for this evening is to finish in front of the 99 of Cole Rouse. The two are tied for second in points, but Ryan told me it would be really great to be able to bring home the 1-2 finish in the point standings for Bob Brancati. Now, if you remember, that number 9 car ended up in victory lane both last season and in 2016, but Ryan said it's a completely different setup than previous seasons due to the tire. So keep an eye on the 9 to see if they can get win number 3 in a row.
That's right, Partridge did it, then Michael Self last year, and going for another one here. Partridge starting on the inside of row 2. And look at the championship leader, Thorne, inside row 3.
Yeah, third row's a little bit deep. He's going to have some cars to get through, but I like to favor the driver with experience. I mean, we've got 200 laps tonight. Patience is going to pay off.
See drivers in the back who are going to have to put patience aside and try to keep the leader from getting to them too quickly. It'll happen fast here on the third mile, All-American Speedway. Field is set to go. Pace car goes to the infield, and Cole Rouse in the black 99 has the green flag. Good jump by him. Deegan will fall into second, unless here comes Partridge, already looking back in the 9.
You see that really tight entry into turn 3. Haley's just going to need to be looking for the bottom groove here to get in a rhythm.
So you talked about the track being kind of different on both ends, Landon. 2 different ways to pass here?
Yeah, absolutely. And it's really different ways to set the car up. I mean, which end of the track do you want to favor as a driver and crew chief? Do you want to kind of get through the flatter, tighter corner here, or roll the banking a little bit better over here in 3 and 4?
See the black and gold Napa Filters car there of Chris Eggleston, the 2015 champion. And they're going to go 3 wide. Sure, you can do that here.
You're always talking about experienced drivers in 200 laps, and you got Eggleston and Thorne going hard early.
Would-be champion, former champion, battling it out. Heather.
Making his return tonight to the K&N Pro Series is the number 50 of Chris Eggleston. A few weeks ago, Bill McAnally called him and asked if he would be interested in running this race here at All-American Speedway, and Chris said definitely. Now, his last full season was 2017, where he had 4 wins for the Bill McAnally racing team, and since then he has had 4 starts in the Camping World Truck Series for David Gilliland Racing, with a best finish of 10th at Vegas. When I spoke to him about the race tonight, he said he feels good about the car. He was fastest in both practices, and his best finish here was a 2nd in 2016. Tonight he's hoping to improve on that and end up in victory lane.
Heather, thanks. Yeah, he lit up the practice sheet.
Yeah, well, Chris has always had speed. I grew up racing late models against Chris a little bit, and he's always had that raw speed that I felt like sometimes I couldn't get out of my cars, but he's definitely got it.
Chris is 29 years old. We mentioned former champion, and he and wife Katie gave birth to their son Tanner back in August, so a lot of things changing in his world. Meanwhile, up front, things not changing at the moment. Cole Rouse has led all the laps, and this battle has continued between Hailie Deegan and Derek Thorne.
I love seeing this battle of the West Coast short track titan car owners with Bob Brancati and Bill McAnally's cars up front.
That's right. Well, with Brancati's cars, the 6 and the 9 and the 22, 2 of them in the championship hunt. Derek Thorne, obviously, the most points so far. They're trying to take that championship trophy away from Bill McAnally. He's had it the last 3 years with Eggleston and then Gilliland twice.
Yeah, I think it's just Derek Thorne has just put together such a solid season. He needs to continue that consistency, and he will get that trophy for his boss.
So Rouse continuing to pace the field in the 99 car. Ryan Partridge, winner 2 years ago here in the 9. He's got him in his sights, but certainly not letting him get away, but not pressuring him right now. This is where all the pressure has been. Deegan's been trying to hang on that high side, and Thorne's been sticking the nose of the 6 down there almost every corner.
Yeah, she's been stuck out there since the start of the race, and it's kind of working for her, but I just don't want you to overwork your car really early in the race. That can be the problem when you're making early battles from the outside lane. It's just harder on your brakes, harder on your tires to be battling like that. But here she goes. She clears them.
So Haley, 17 years old, a pole at Vegas, second place finish there, was the highest for a female in this series, and then the win at Meridian Lane, and she's got to be so full of confidence now.
Absolutely. You can see it. I mean, just going from a win to a front row starting position here for Haley, she's definitely on a roll. She's getting a lot of attention. There's a lot of energy behind her, and she has what it takes. She has the focus. You know, we heard Heather talk about how she set her goals for this season and moving forward, and really that's just what it takes to be a successful person. Is we got some action on the track here.
Oh, it's going to happen all night. You know, you can start your story, Landon, but it's going to be interrupted by fenders, I'm sure. There is Kraus in the 16. He gets through. Eggleston moved back, and Cody Vanderwall now looking for a way by in the 43. I think this was the 3 wide battle we saw earlier, was it? They've tamed it down to 2.
Yeah, I don't know how you make room for 3 wide on this racetrack. A third mile, that's a small place.
Matt Levine behind them in the white number 10. And Vanderwall still trying to find his groove in that red 43 after 2 early season wins at Tucson. There's Thorne clearing. That's good news for the championship leader. And Haley will cool her tires now in the 19. Maybe. Here comes her teammate.
Vanderwall always finds himself in the middle of these, in the middle of the action on these racetracks. It seems like he's not afraid to stick his nose in there.
And running with the former champion Eggleston in the 50 car. Good chance to pick up on some things.
Yeah, I can see Eggleston, you know, battling for position, but still giving Cody some room. Definitely a smart move early on into a 200-lap race for Chris.
Well, that's right. You know, he's here to win only. He's not in the championship hunt this year. So Bill McAnally gives him a call, like Heather talked to us about. And what are you going to do? You're going to try to go out and get the W.
Exactly. I mean, you could end up like the 16 here of Derek Kraus, who's already got a little damage on the front valence, so the right front valence of his car.
Derek done barnstorming in the East Series for DGR Crosley Racing, a couple of races out there at New Hampshire and Dover, and now back to try to work his way back up in the championship. It's going to be tough to catch Thorne, but he's one of the drivers that could do it with this race and one more remaining.
We're 25 laps into this race. You've already see the brakes glowing. It's not a bad thing for these cars. I mean, the brakes and the equipment on these cars have advanced so many years that we can pound the brakes on the short tracks as drivers, but you definitely want to watch that. You don't want your pedal to get soft.
Debris on the track, we're hearing from NASCAR, and they're going to put the caution out. You know, if the bumpers are glowing, that's a bad thing, which
Yeah.
we've already had some contact out there, and I'm not surprised there's some sort of debris out there, which NASCAR has found. There it is. And for safety reasons, put out that caution for the first time. Rouse leads, but he's not getting away from anybody. Started in 1977 and has been consistent with that for the last 11 years. Rouse is a control car on the inside, that black 99. To his outside, Partridge. What kind of a jump can he get this time? He sticks with him pretty well.
It's just really hard to get that outside groove. Whoa, working.
Contact.
It's especially hard to get the outside groove working when the guy underneath you is bouncing off your door.
I was going to say. But Partridge wants that first spot.
Definitely hanging on here.
Oh, and look at his teammate Thorne right behind him. So Partridge with a little juice in that outside line, and he's going to be the leader this time by.
Quickly tries to get to the bottom there to protect the inside. But that just allows Cole to maybe put the bumper to him.
Well, everyone knows Rouse has a very strong race car. Showed that in qualifying. Has been close all season long. Could have won a couple of weeks ago at Meridian. Was leading on the white flag lap until a little bumper found him.
Yeah, you can hear it in Cole's voice early in the race, or in his interview, that he's tired of finishing second in these races, but he's got to remind himself right now that he's got one of the best cars this weekend. He can't let an early restart with over 150 laps to go set him back or get him off his focus.
Good battle back here between Haley Deegan and the white 19, the red 43 of Cody Vanderwall, and with them the 08 of Travis Milburn. Travis, a California driver who races his late model throughout the Northwest and has had occasional starts in the K&N Pro Series. Working the high side nicely.
Yeah, as these tires wear off, that outside groove could come in just a little bit because the guys on the drivers on the inside, you can see they start to lose grip. They get tighter in the center. They lose their forward drive. It looks like that's like something that Haley is struggling with right now, just having that grip. on the exit of the corners.
Trevor Huddleston, the 22 car, the third Brancati car, as you see the second Brancati car moving the Bill McAnally car out of the way. Thorne to second, or maybe not.
If I'm Derek's spotter right now, I'm reminding him of what our agenda is to make it to the end of the race. We just need a smooth race with no damage, no cautions.
Cole gets in him. He went back down to try to protect from his teammate. Another 3 wide going into 3. Derek Kraus in the 16 is going to be the winner of that and move his way to second. Oh my goodness.
Wow.
That was not over, and around goes Kraus.
Yep, that's what happens. The tempers start flying.
Just a little bit of, I didn't like that, and you're going to pay for it, and the 16 car is spun backwards, and this is continuing. Derek Thorne and Derek Kraus, very unhappy with each other.
Yeah, now we've got damage on both cars, which is definitely going to affect their performance. That's not what you want to happen this early in the race.
Let's take a look at it.
Looks like Derek here wanted to protect the bottom into turn 1, which has been so important. It just caused him to overshoot the entry and get into Derek Kraus there.
Well, it's almost like what Rouse did the lap before
to
Thorne.
Yeah, I mean, I think that entry to turn 1 is so important to be straight and low to protect the inside that you kind of try to outbrake the guy behind you, and it shoves him into the car in front of you. It's hard to watch your mirrors and out the windshield at the same time.
Well, on a short track like this. I mean,
Exactly.
It's all happening very quickly.
And you have to use your mirrors. I mean, he's watching his spot mirror right there. You know, that's 6. He's looking at his spot mirror in that moment to watch the 99. And it's hard to tell exactly how close you are to Derek Kraus, the 16.
Speaking of spots, how about flat spots on tires? One set tonight, Landon. They race on the set they qualified on. They don't get a chance to change them unless one goes down. So theoretically, these guys are going to be racing on these tires all night.
Yeah, we did see him slide a little bit, but on short tracks, it's not the worst, as long as there's no vibration.
Derek Kraus is about to find out at the All-American Speedway. He'll re-enter the race when we come back. Cleanup complete at the All-American Speedway, but the front of the field has changed. The leader is the 9 car, Brian Partridge. Second place now to Cole Rouse. In the melee that just happened, the 6 of Derek Thorne got lapped because he couldn't get his car rolling. And the 16 of Derek Kraus, well, he's back in the garage area. They're replacing the radiator on his car.
So do we have a different race going on now, Dave?
Absolutely, and mainly because the 9 car, Brian Partridge, the car has won the race 2 years in a row. He's trying to win for the 2nd and 3.
He's back in the lead.
And he's back to the front with Cole Rouse, the fastest car most of the day and evening, pressuring him. And we're only a quarter of the way through, Landon. What could happen now?
I have no idea. Hopefully Cole Rouse is saw all that happen and said, okay, I need to settle back down, get back in my rhythm, get to the end of this thing.
Well, it took 2 very fast cars from the front of the field, so that changed it up quite a bit. Once again,
that is pressure off of you as a driver when you know, hey, those are 2 of my fiercest competitors in this race that now have damage. One of them is pretty much out of contention. The other ones, we've got him pinned a lap down right now.
There's Thorne. Actually, that's Huddleston, his teammate, in the middle of the pack. And then further back, Derek Thorne in the 6 car trying to work his way back through. By the way, Chris Eggleston as well with issues. We'll try to get a report from Heather on that. The 50 car was in the garage during that caution as well. So, yeah, it's all mixed up. Let's start over. Yeah, and enjoy the race.
We got 145 laps to go. So for some of the K&N races that we get into, the race just started.
Yeah, exactly. Huddleston, by the way, California driver, number 22 in his rookie season, battling for that Rookie of the Year honor in this series, has done a good job. And he knows he's in good equipment with Thorne and Partridge leading the way on that team.
Yeah, Trevor's been showing some really good patience here in turn 3 and 4, keeping it tight to the wall. That's where you need to be to get off of turn 4.
All right, now we see the Chris Eggleston car right behind him. Heather has more.
Prior to that caution, we saw the number 50 car of Chris Eggleston dropping to the back. He was complaining to his team that he was extremely loose. Now, during qualifying, they were not having those issues, so they brought it in to pit road to tighten it up for him. But he's got a lot of work to do because now he's going to have to make his way up to the field from the back.
Frustrating when a car goes opposite of what you thought?
I'm okay with that, though. I mean, they could have just been nitpicking on it. He's sitting there thinking, I've got 150 laps to go. He's already back up to 5th. It could definitely help him on the long run. That's something that those leaders are not going to do. They're not going to give up track position to tune on their car, but an experienced driver like Chris, that's a good move.
When I was thinking experienced crew chief who looks at the size of the field and says, well, if we pit, we only give up X number of spots, and we can probably get back by him.
Exactly. And like I said, he's already in the top 5, and he's coming right up.
Sun setting here in Roseville. Gorgeous evening for racing. So glad you could join us here on NBCSN at the All-American Speedway. What used to be the Placer County Fairgrounds, now called At the Grounds. And we may have mentioned to you that Bill McAnally, owner of 4 cars in the event here tonight, is now the promoter of racing here, Landon, and that's for a long time coming.
Yeah, that brings a lot of stability to this speedway. It's something that a historic racetrack like All-American Speedway needs and has a lot of value in that. It's got a good little race here for the free pass. Derek Thorne, 1 lap down. He's trying to get into Cody Vanderwall here, put himself in position to get that lap back.
Once again, if the caution comes out, the first car not on the lead lap will get a chance to roll around and get at least 1 lap back. In this case,
pretty much count on that on a 3rd mile bull ring.
Oh, another caution?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. But right now, Vanderwall's in that position. Thorne wants to get around him. So I love when you go to a short track, there's so many races to watch, and now 1 more. Who's going to be in the free pass position if and when a caution comes out?
Exactly. That's it's definitely a lot of action, good racing here. As we watch Haley Deegan, she's been struggling to keep her car tight to the bottom and have good drive off all night. She's kind of had to bulldog her way around some of these guys to maintain, which is something she's good at. She's not afraid to put her car in the middle there.
6th place now for Deegan, and right with her, Matt Levine in the 10 car. This is the leader, Ryan Partridge. Describe for us, Landon, how you work your way through lap traffic on a short track with the 2nd place car right in your bumper.
Well, I want to make my passes on exit and protect the entry under braking, really. I mean, what you don't want to happen is to get stuck behind a lap car and that 2nd place car close a gap on you all of a sudden and dive bomb you on the entry. So I'm going to be patient, protect the entry, and then drive off the slower cars on exit.
Love that graphic there. Travis Milburn running in 3rd, has never finished better than 6th. And right now in very good position in that multicolored 08 car. Look at the speed shot there. Yeah, they get some speed up on this 3rd mile. The drivers who are veterans and those who are coming up next.
Hi, I'm Cole Rouse, driving the number 99 NAP Focus Toyota. I started off in late models when I was 15 years old. Now progressed to NASCAR K&N West and partially the East. Hoping to do some truck races later this year and get ready for next year. Hopefully do a full-time truck deal. Toyota put me in a really good spot to go to Kyle Busch Motorsports and race super late models for a full season. Kyle's awesome help, so it was great to have him around, and it's great competition. We'll have the Sunrise Ford guys there this year competing for a championship with us, and of course our Bill McAnally Racing, my teammates over there, competing for a championship too and wins. I'm Cole Rouse, and that's your NASCAR Next Gen profile.
Cole's still looking for his first win. He did make his first Xfinity Series start at Las Vegas, though, this year for the West Coast guy.
I was there when he hopped in the car, not one of the front runners, but he was just excited to get laps on the 1.5 miles and in an Xfinity car.
Yeah, that was a smart move for him. I was there and talked to him a little bit over the weekend, and it's important to get your approvals for NASCAR from NASCAR on the 1.5 mile tracks. You know, he's setting himself up to put himself in a position, like he said, to run in the Truck Series and be approved for all the racetracks.
The resume process. NASCAR has a group of folks in their competition department who look things over, make sure that before you make a step up, you've completed some requisite track time.
Yeah, you have to provide all of the races that you've participated in, the tracks that you've been to, your racing experience, references, people that you've worked with, and then NASCAR wants to see you on the racetrack. You can't just show up to Daytona and make your first start.
So back up front, Partridge trying to hold off Rouse, and it looks like the 99 car has a little more speed and maybe a little more bumper.
Yeah, he's got some aggression. We talked about coming up on lap traffic and how you handle it. That might play a factor in this race for the lead.
For 3rd, Huddleston and Milburn, with Eggleston waiting right behind.
Milburn was such a good run going tonight. Giving him plenty of room there. That's smart.
They're going to stay side by side.
And look at Eggleston inching his way up. That adjustment that they made clearly helped the car, and he's in a position to be in the top 3 here in a couple laps.
That gold 50 car. 2015 champion, back for a one-race appearance with Bill McAnally Racing.
He's got to be feeling right now like his road is blocked.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm so much faster than these two cars in front of me, but I just have nowhere to go, and I just have to wait. It's allowed Haley Deegan to close the gap on Chris.
That's right. And they're going to just stay side by side, arguing over that spot.
This is what causes problems on short tracks like this, though, is that you end up with sort of an accordion effect, and a lot of times somebody ends up, mashing into the bumpers, and that's where a caution comes out, or people end up with damage. So you definitely be on high alert right now if I'm Chris Eggleston.
Oh, Rudy Vanderwall in the 34. That's Dad. He's up in the high groove, and that's going to stop the progress of Milburn until he forces his way through. But that clears Huddleston, yeah.
Little damage for Milburn now on the front end of his car.
And Eggleston's going to take advantage as well. Oh, they're rubbing on each other.
Chris just wants to clear Milburn right now. Take a deep breath.
And he can't get out of that high line. Here comes Haley. And there's Derek Thorne. Thorne making his way back.
Still a lap down, but he's the one hoping for a caution at this point because he's moved himself into the free pass position.
That's right. We can tell that he's gotten by Cody Vanderwall. Here goes Eggleston trying to take third from Huddleston.
A lot of stability on entry to the corner for Chris. You can tell that adjustment worked for him. They said his car was loose earlier in the race. You can see how he charges into the corner. It's not loose anymore.
Yeah, he wouldn't have had that confidence with a loose race car. Yep. Best battle on the racetrack right here. Now fourth, Trevor Huddleston battling for fifth. Milburn and Deegan, and right behind them in the free pass spot is Derek Thorne.
Yeah, I mentioned earlier, Trevor Huddleston does such a good job of just keeping it tight around the bottom. That's extremely important, especially in the close quarters racing right here. He's not giving Haley an inch to be able to stick her nose underneath him.
Wondering about Milburn in that high line there. Is he abusing his tires more than the drivers on the low line?
Yeah, I mean, mainly because of the way he's driving it and how hard he's trying to get into the corner to maintain that position. You can see the car wiggling around a lot. It just causes, it's just hard on those tires. It causes heat, causes wear.
Oh, he's out of shape there.
He was loose in.
Man, Travis Milburn was having such a good run, and that's going to be the caution that Derek Thorne needs.
Exactly. That's a free pass for Derek Thorne, and Milburn needs to get his car turned around so he doesn't lose a lap.
That's
going to happen.
Too late. Yep, Partridge goes by, and unfortunately, there isn't a lot of room for him to swing that 08 car around. And he'll just have to wait for the field to go through. Mary gets it corrected.
Well, we kind of foreshadowed and saw that coming there, didn't we?
Set this up for us now. He thinks he's got grip.
Yeah, but he just charged into the corner. The car was already unstable down the straightaway. Just a little loose entry can cause that thing to come right around like it did. No contact or anything from the 6 of Derek Thorne.
Yep. And no contact on the wall for Milburn, which is good news.
More flat-spotted tires, maybe.
Yep, and I think he's gone a second lap down there, so that's not great.
Derek Thorne taking his free pass. Is he sending a message to Cole Rouse?
I saw the index finger coming out there. You caused me to have to do this.
We'll have to watch for that later.
Thorne will be back on the lead lap and trying to get back to the front when we come back. The penultimate race in the 2018 season for the K&N Pro Series West taking place at the All-American Speedway tonight. And it's been a good one. Cole Rouse got his first career pole and led the early laps. The action has been frequent. Derek Kraus spun around there. Travis Milburn spinning on his own. Ryan Partridge being pressured by Rouse once he got the lead away from him. And at this point, as we see the field realigning, we will tell you that while we were away, there was a quick caution. And in that moment, the 50 car of Chris Eggleston was scored ahead of Cole Rouse at the line. So, Eggleston will start on the outside of row 1. Partridge is the leader, then Rouse and Trevor Huddleston.
Adjustments paying off for Chris Eggleston. Let's see if he can get into the lead.
Certainly are. And on the inside of row 3, there you see it. Derek Thorne has made his way back up and may challenge for the win before this night is over. But here's the big challenge right now. Eggleston trying to get the lead away from Partridge, and he's going to do it. There's that 3-car train back into one again. This time it works, sort of. Rouse gets into Partridge, and Rouse is trying to take second. Oh, and big trouble. Chris Eggleston hard into the wall.
Wow.
That was
he
huge.
went straight into the wall. That car had great forward drive as he took the lead.
And then heading
looks like
into
he's
turn
all right.
3.
Dropped the window net.
Yep, thank goodness. Here's what happened.
You can see him try to get out of the throttle and get on the brakes, and the wheels locked up.
Oh.
It looks like a hung throttle, or the brakes didn't go out because the tires locked up. You can see him smoking.
You can hear the crowd cheering in the background. Chris has emerged from that 50 car. That was a huge hit.
Wow. You can see him moving already. He was okay.
Boy, that is just hard to do and hard to react that quickly to protect yourself, Landon.
Yeah, I mean, it just reminds you that even on a small racetrack like this, how fast we're going.
A wild ride there for Chris Eggleston. Chris, first of all, are you okay, and what happened?
Yeah, I mean, I rung my bell a little bit, but, man, first and foremost, how fun is it reuniting with Ryan Partridge, racing side by side for the lead like that? It's just so fun, and thanks to the world, to everybody with Napa Filters and Bill McAnally Racing for inviting me out for this one-off race. Had an absolute blast. We fired off way too free, came in and pitted, made a big wholesale change, and ran all the way up to the lead and led some laps. Had a blast tonight here at All-American Speedway, and this is chassis 84, which I believe used to be owned by Brandon McReynolds. And Brandon, I'm sorry, buddy. I think we killed her. Oh my goodness, I've never destroyed a race car that hard. The throttle just hung wide open. I have no idea. I mean, it didn't show any signs of that throughout the whole race. And Ryan got into me. We're racing really hard. Next thing I know, I sailed off into 3, and the throttle just stuck. I had both feet on the brakes, just trying to slow it down, and felt like Ricky Bobby out there. We're in the air, and this is not good. But dang it, I thought we were going to put the Napa Filters Toyota in victory lane for Bill McAnally being in his backyard. But again, can't thank all these guys for working so hard, putting this deal together at the last second. And man, had a blast tonight.
Thanks, Chris.
Yeah, thanks.
Oh, there you have it. Hung throttle, especially out of nowhere. That is a helpless feeling as a driver. You have no idea what to do.
Usually you have something that's sticky or it doesn't come back once or twice, right?
Yeah, I've had sticky throttles before where you try to pull it back, but hanging one like that, I mean, there's nothing they can do.
Well, Eggleston is out of the race. Thank goodness he's okay. The action will resume in Roseville in a moment. Horrendous crash where his throttle stuck, and he was leading. So that gives the lead back to Ryan Partridge in the blue and orange 9. To his outside, pole sitter Cole Rouse. They get to green with 27 laps to go.
We can take it home from here, guys.
Oh, if they don't wreck. But boy, they are leaning on each other. Outside line working for Rouse. Boy, he gets pushed up there by Partridge.
And this has been one of the hardest races that Cole Rouse has had to drive all year. He seems like he's had the best car, but he has been challenged at every corner.
Man, Partridge rolling off the left rear of Rouse right there. I don't know how much these cars can take.
Hopefully it doesn't cut his left rear tire.
I'm thinking. These fans have been treated to a fantastic show here tonight. And right now, Cole Rouse, where he started the evening, from the first spot, retakes the lead.
Haley Deegan working the outside there, moving herself back into top 5.
Trevor Huddleston trying to hold that position. You see the 3 Bruncati cars there looking good up front.
They're so strong at this racetrack.
We mentioned it before. Bruncati cars have won the last 2 races at All-American Speedway.
Even after talking about tires changing and setups changing, those blue and orange cars are still up front.
We've been talking about flat spots on the bottom of the tires, Landon. What about the sides? Oh, yeah. And there's Haley getting a nudge from Trevor Huddleston.
That was more than a nudge. This sent her right up the racetrack. She will not let up, though. Look at that.
Just stays to the high side, and that, doesn't let Huddleston get...
She's going to return the favor.
There it is. She sends him around, and, Matt Levine is going to collect Trevor Huddleston.
Oh.
I was going to say that doesn't let Trevor get the exit that he wants off the corners, but...
No, he definitely didn't get the exit that he wants because the front ends tore off.
It's going to be the exit from the race, perhaps. Yeah, that left front took a huge hit.
You have to be selective on when you move someone out of the way because they can just turn around and return the favor like Haley did here.
Saw Trevor jump on the brakes. There was Haley.
And look how just narrow the racetrack is right here. Walls on both sides of you. There's nowhere for that 10 to go.
Oh, Matt Levine could not sneak through on the bottom, and that damages both race cars. Here's another look. Going down the backstretch, Trevor moves her up a little bit, and she moves him around.
That'll make you think twice about the next time you want to move someone out of the way, though, on a short track. These drivers have to race each other every week.
And they're both rookies, so...
Yeah, and you get to know their tolerance level, I guess.
Uh-huh.
Well, Haley had a message to send, and NASCAR has a message to send back to her because she will start at the tail of this restart. You can see her roll by right there at the tail of the field.
And they penalized her a lap for rough driving.
Yep.
So, I guess there's a limit.
There is a limit with NASCAR, but she still did what she needed to do, I guess.
We've seen a lot of fender rubbing. We've seen them leaning on each other tonight. That looked fairly intentional in NASCAR's eyes, so they have penalized Hailie Deegan 1 lap. The top 5 cars are on the lead lap, including the 77 of Nick Joannidis. And joining the back of the field, Travis Milburn got the free pass, so he is the 6th car on the lead lap with just a few laps remaining. Rouse got the jump, but here comes Partridge trying to cross him back over and nose him out of the way. But Rouse hangs on.
Gosh, they're chewing on every corner of these cars.
I'm telling you, full contact racing in the K&N Pro Series.
Just got to keep watching that entry to turn 1. That's where all the trouble is. That's where these guys get into each other.
Rouse clears now.
I think this might be the biggest lead he's had all night.
Oh, and that is Taylor Canfield around in the 39 car, and that is going to bring out the caution again.
And that's going to Hailie Deegan.
I was just going to say, yeah, she's the free pass now. So Hailie will be back on the lead lap. What can she do with under 10 laps remaining?
Well, she's been able to make the high side work, and late in a race like this, they get stuck on the bottom. She might be able to roll around a couple spots on the second groove.
You can see what happened back there. Canfield and Milburn was coming through. It's another look at it down the bottom of the screen. Yeah, Milburn was coming through.
Move that wall all the way inside. They're going to have to move that back.
Yeah, that's a quick fix there. That one's not really intended to do much more than remind the drivers, don't go down there.
Cole has to stand the test of another late restart, which we've seen here at All-American Speedway in the past.
Well, so what would you do if you were Partridge? Last time, Rouse got the jump, but he kind of then let him have it out of 2 and tried the crossover to make the inside move down to 3.
Yeah, I mean, he wants that. They're diving into turn 1 and using up the racetrack on exit of 2. Let's see if he does it again.
Green is back out at All-American.
There it is. He uses up the exit.
And Partridge doesn't have as much to do to get back over. Actually had a better runoff of 2 that time, so he stays to the high side. Now he'll try to do the crossover.
That 1 car length cushion that Cole just had into turn 1 made a big difference right there.
Cole Rouse is trying to win the race, max out on points, and draw closer to the car 3rd in line, the championship leader, Derek Thorne.
I'm not saying that that's a big gap, but that's a good enough gap that now the 9 can't get to his rear bumper on the entry to 1.
Yeah, now Cole is showing just how good that 99 car still is, Landon, after all these laps.
Yeah, he's showing that he can step it up when it counts.
1 to go. Cole Rouse, trying to win for the first time in the K&N Pro Series, has a good advantage going down into turn 3. And if he can just navigate these last 2 corners, he's going to do it. Cole Rouse will win at the All-American Speedway.
What a drive. What a hard race for Cole. That's a well-earned win.
And what an entertaining show for the fans. It was part demolition, part racing.
Yes, this bull ring never lets us down.
We'll be back to talk to the winner, a first-time winner, when we come back. K&N Pro Series Racing on NBCSN is brought to you by K&N High-Flow Air Filters and Air Intake Systems, because everyone loves that fast car smell. Well, 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 a short track that had plenty of action from start to finish. And Landon, you said it, this place didn't disappoint.
Absolutely not. Cole Rouse, our winner. First career win in the K&N Series. Good timing for him in his career.
There's Cole parked in victory lane. Heather is nearby, and now he gets out.
Cole Rouse, your winner here at All-American Speedway. Excitement from the crowd. Bill McAnally Racing's home track. He gets the win. A big hug from his crew chief, his team. Smiles all around. It's been a long time coming for this young man to get his first victory in the K&N West Series. Cole, you're here. You did it. Your team told me earlier today they knew it was your night. You got to put into words what you're feeling right now.
Yeah, well, I mean, that was a crazy race. Sunrise Ford, they gave me a hard race. I mean, it was crazy. Got lifted up too many times, I think, and I just had to move them out of the way. And we got here to the win. For all my guys, Paul at Napa Filters, Napa Belts and Hoses, Toyota Racing, especially Bill McAnally Racing. That was badass.
Your team told you throughout the race to remain calm, stay patient, hit your marks. How deep did you have to dig for that patience tonight?
I didn't have much patience at all with the Sunrise cars. Like I said, they were running me pretty rough, and I'm a pretty clean racer, but if you run me rough, I'll run you rough back. So we did that tonight and came up with a win, but it was a crazy race.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Yeah, that is the temper that can come out of these bouldering racetracks, but Cole kept his head on straight. He did a great job.
We saw things shift a couple of times in the going. Nick Joanitis ended up in the 4th position. Travis Milburn got that free pass and ended up with a top 5.
Yeah, important third place finish for Derek Thorne. Continues his points lead towards this championship after a win from Cole Rouse.
Heather?
Coming home with a 2nd place finish tonight is Ryan Partridge. Ryan, it was a wild race out there. It was all about survival. How were you able to make it to the end?
It was rough. I think in a race like this, being out front is probably the safe spot to be, so you're not just, I don't know, in the mix getting too beat up. I don't know, our Sunrise Ford Fusion, it was pretty good at the beginning of the race. I really thought we had a dominant car. I don't know what happened towards the end. We just lost turnability. We got tight in the center and couldn't roll the center like everyone else. Especially the 99 was still pretty good through the center. He's a little free off, but still turned through the center. I think that's where he was better than us. Anyways, I don't know. It was a rough race. A lot of fender to fender contact moving, and man, Eggleston took a hit. That was wild. Anyways, I don't know. Maybe we towed it in a little bit, bumping wheels, or maybe we burned it down chasing Eggleston for a little too long while the 99 was maybe just back there sitting patient. But either way, it's a lot better than we've run the last couple races, so we're really happy about that. We're at least we could feel it, we could touch it, but got to thank Bob Brancati, Marine Brancati, the whole Sunrise Ford Racing team for this opportunity, and we'll see what we can do. I think we slipped back into 3rd in points, so that's no fun. So hopefully we can make it up in Kern.
Thanks, Ryan.
Thank you.
Yeah, Ryan, he knew he had to use the bumper to beat Cole Rouse tonight, but just didn't have the car to make it happen.
See how the points shake out here. Rouse moves up, has a 26-point deficit to Thorne with 1 race to go. It'll take a miracle, but mathematically, it still is possible. So, Derek Thorne ended up in 3rd. Can't believe it. Heather caught up with him.
Finishing 3rd tonight is Derek Thorne. Derek, at one point you were a lap down. You guys had a lot of adversity to overcome between other drivers and things like that. Walk us kind of through your race and what it was like from your point of view.
200 laps, we had to save a little bit, and we ended up getting caught up in some stuff that was partially our doing, partially not our doing. It's just some of these guys are racing just way too rough, and we were the recipient of one of those incidences, and I couldn't get it going under caution and got a lap down there, and luckily, you know, with the race being as long as it was and as many cautions as we had, we were able to get back on a lead lap without doing too much extensive damage to it. And just proud of these guys for working so hard. And you know, we've had good cars, we've had good solid runs all year, and we've been able to take bad nights and salvage a decent finish. And tonight's one of those nights, and hopefully we can go into Kern with a sizable point lead and, you know, get out of there with a championship.
Going back to that incident with the 16, can you speak to what happened there?
Yeah, you know, my intent was to get underneath him and get back in front of the 99. He tried to wreck me in 3 and 4, and when I tried to get back in front of him, getting into 1, I got into 16, drove it a little bit. When I was trying to get in front of the 99, I got into the 16, I wouldn't have dumped him, and the 99, again, just driving over his head, just flat out dumped me, and it took me right to the 16. So it's one of those things where it is what it is. You know, I will have to move forward, and it's just the way they race, so we'll continue doing the same thing we've been doing.
Thanks, Derek.
Thank you.
I'd say there's no love lost there for 2 guys battling for a championship on a short track.
1 race to settle it. That'll be in a few weeks at Kern County Raceway Park. Next up on NBCSN for the Touring Series, the Wheeling Modified Tour, their finale from Thompson, Connecticut. You won't want to miss that on October 18th. Well, you watched a wildly entertaining race tonight from the All-American Speedway. Cole Rouse, of course, his first career pole and led a number of laps in the 99 car. But the bumper tag was prevalent. Thorne into Kraus, and he's around. Travis Milburn lost it on his own in turn 2, but recovered. And then the throttle sticking for Chris Eggleston. That huge hit for the former champion. Haley Deegan moved Trevor Huddleston out of the way, but was penalized for rough driving. The rough driving continued to the checkered flag, but Cole Rouse didn't care. He got his first career win in the K&N Pro Series.